Before you watch the interview with Aileen Stevens, if you have not yet heard of the story of the young couple that was just trying to go to church before being kidnapped by Dangelo Dorsey and dragged to hell, watch the original story right here at this link and then watch this interview. So less than 24 hours after we posted the story about Dangelo Dorsey's crime spree that resulted in the kidnapping of Aileen and Jordan Stevens, where Dorsey executed Jordan Stevens, the husband, in front of his wife, Aileen Stevens. We had reached out to Aileen for an interview, and same day, we heard back, and we got an interview with Aileen Stevens. The only problem is, it was only a couple of sentences long, and I was confused by the exchange. So you could try to make sense of it. We're going to report the interview, and I'm going to make my best guesses and assumptions based on it, because she didn't want to set me straight. She didn't want to provide any insight, which is her right. And there is no way to try to figure out what anything means when someone is grieving, especially when she saw her husband get shot to death. So take this for what you will, and let's try to read between the lines, because she did not want to interview with us, but she did say a couple of things, and I have my guesses, and I'm going to give those guesses. It's not fact, it's just guesses. And that's all we've got to go on. And we know there's a lot of people out there that are dying to hear some details to come out of this. So this was the original teaser pic that I had posted on Instagram and YouTube video. The details are so disturbing and sad. Do not trust people that look like rappers, drug dealers, killers, white or black or any race, especially with gold teeth. Sure enough, another career criminal, BLM type that protesters would be marching for, if not for killing himself. You know, if the cops had killed him, he's the perfect type. Fighting, resisting, and another martyr. So I made that little BLM jab in there. That's just some context. And also in the title of the video, it was just, young couple on their way to church, kidnapped by Dangelo Dorsey and dragged to hell. So I reached out to Aileen. I thought maybe she'll reply weeks or months from now, because I thought she was still in the hospital. This happened 3 or 4 days ago. The car flipped at 100 miles per hour, Dangelo Dorsey's car, evading the police, and she escaped from it, and he killed himself. And she was able to escape from the car. So I didn't even think she was out of the hospital yet, let alone checking her Instagram messages. But she replied. Here's the exchange. I had said, "Hi Aileen, text me or email me if you want to tell your story sometime. Phone number and email." She wrote, "I understand your perspective, but I ask you kindly to take my story off of your page. I believe what I believe and have the right to ask kindly. Thank you." So I think what she's referring to is the BLM jab I threw in my little summary, and the way that I wrote the headline and the description of the story we posted about this young couple on their way to church, and they got kidnapped, and the husband got executed by this black guy. And I was taken aback by her response, like, kindly take my story off of your page. And it made me think of, like, Amish people, shut off from the world. Maybe they don't know what's going on in the world. So, because she's a news story. CNN had this part on their homepage. YouTube had numerous videos about them. I'm sure she had tons of reporters calling her for her captivating stories. So it's like, why was she telling me to remove my story about her? I am a news outlet with NewsBall.com. I mean, look at the number and the email we gave to her. So if she had said, hey, maybe in weeks or months I'll reach out if I want to share, I would have replied, hey, no problem, take your time, thank you for your response. I hope you heal. I hope your baby is healthy when she's born in 4 months. But because she said, take the story off your page, I have the right to believe what I didn't say you don't have the right to. I don't even know what she was referring to, other than maybe she took some issue with the headline of my articles. But yeah, then I just went right at it. I took one more stab at it. What did Dangelo say? Why did he kill your husband? Why was he so cold and evil? He could have just been on his way. Why did he have to hurt you guys? And then she just straight up said, if you don't take it off, I will report it. Don't use my story. Thank you. Like, what does she have against me? Why is she being so disrespectful? And this is a woman that has scripture littered on her social media. They were on their way to church. She's obviously a religious woman, and she just seems very disrespectful towards me. Like, she can just say no comment or just ignore me. Why is she acting like I am doing something that isn't totally expected of, given that she is like, this is a very sensational story that happened? And I said that you are a news story. Why are you acting like this? Are you going to report CNN too? And then I showed that. That's all I said, because I was genuinely confused. Report all of these YouTubes too. 1. No one said it's a BLM murder. Misinformation. 2. Be more sympathetic at the fact that I lost my husband. 3. You're harassing me in the middle of my grief. 4. Don't use my story to push a twisted agenda when all of the facts aren't out. So I then said, hey, I'm going to block you right now since you think I'm somehow harassing you, when all I asked was reach out if you want to talk, share your story. And then I sent a follow-up message. And so I said, hey, text me, email me if you want to share your story. I'm going to block you right now so you don't feel like I'm harassing you. So that was the end of the conversation. That was the end of the interview. And now let's read between the lines, and it's just a sarcastic jab when I put the little BLM thing in there. A BLM murderer. Because this is the stereotypical kind of black-looking dude that fights with the cops, resists arrest, has tons of warrants, criminal record, and then when shit goes south, play stupid games, win stupid rewards, right? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Then that's when there's protests and fires and looting and riots for someone like that. And so it's just throwing in a little cultural reference of what's going on in this day and age. But she seems to be really sympathetic. She seems to not want to say anything negative about her kidnapper, Dangelo Dorsey, and her husband's killer, Dangelo Dorsey, but she wanted to say some disrespectful, have this attitude with me, just who simply reached out to her with a couple of messages, respectful messages. There's nothing bad about them, and she's being disrespectful to me, threatening me to remove my story or else. And she does not want to say anything negative about Dangelo Dorsey. Now, so what am I getting at? What am I trying to say? I'm not trying to say anything. It's just strange, right? But she's grieving, and there's no way to judge anyone that's grieving and all that. I mean, killers' families, victim families usually forgive their killer at some point in the grieving process, years or months later. But I don't know, has she forgiven him instantly? Maybe she's filled with guilt because maybe she was one of these BLM protesters that was doing a lot of protests for BLMers. And then, sure enough, months later, one of these black dudes ends up abducting them, killing her husband on their way to church. And it's just such a mind for her, right? Because she had just posted on her Instagram 2, 3, 4 months prior, never take for granted when you leave your house that you're going to return safely, and pray on everything. 2 posts like that. And she was praying with her husband when they were in the car, kidnapped by this dude driving them. They were praying for him. And, I don't know if she just has a lot of this she's a lot of conflicted emotions. So she's kind of feeling so weird about herself because she did these protests maybe. I don't know. I'm just assuming she did BLM protests. I mean, is that why she's just so conflicted right now? She's not ready to say anything negative about blacks or this dude, even just this dude, because he's a symbol of BLM and I had mentioned it, so it triggered her. I don't know what. I don't get it. But, I don't know if there's, it's most likely, what probably went down is the husband tried to attack. He saw a moment to take the gun and to save him and his wife, and Aileen was probably being raped, and he tried to save her and try to get them out of there, and he got killed. And then off they went driving, and they dumped the body. And it's horrible. That's just an assumption. she doesn't want to tell her story. And I gotta believe that she's either, I don't know, she either wants to sell her story for a lot of money down the road, because it goes with the GoFundMe account, which wanted $10,000, then they raised the goal to $30,000, then they raised the goal to $100,000, and now it's exceeded over $100,000, so they're probably going to raise the goal yet again. But I don't know, I don't know what to make of this. This is all she wanted to say. She didn't have anything negative to say about her kidnapper and her husband's killer. She was very hostile and disrespectful towards me, and she seemed to really take offense at the BLM jab that I put in my headline and everything like that. And maybe because she's someone that protested with BLM, and now this black dude out of nowhere freaking ruined her life. But she either wants to sell her story, so she didn't want to say anything. But it's weird, right? When all of the facts aren't out, so why didn't you say some of the facts? Like, why are you being coy? Like, you set me straight. There's some facts, then say the facts. I just don't understand why if you're gonna say something, if you're not gonna say no comment, you're gonna say something, then and you take the time to write these and all this, and you didn't say anything at all. Like, you took a lot of effort to say nothing at all, and intentionally say all the facts aren't out. So it's like almost like she's defending this violent career criminal who went on a crime spree of killing people, including her husband that day. I don't know if she feels stupid for protesting for BLM. That's an assumption. I don't know if she has Stockholm syndrome from being raped by him. Again, that's an assumption. Don't know if she was raped. I don't know why the husband died. No one knows yet. She doesn't want to say, but he probably tried to be the hero and save her. And then he shot her. He shot him, and probably was raping her. And it just seems like if you're gonna be hostile and got negative things to say, shouldn't it be towards the kidnapper, the killer? Not why me? Like, I guess she took issue with my headline, or what? But it just seems like she's got some sympathy for Dangelo Dorsey. So you can watch the original video, what we published. Here's the link. It's at the beginning of the video too. And yeah, that's it. That's all there is. So maybe someday you're going to hear her story in a book, or she wants to be on Primetime ABC or Dateline NBC. But she didn't want to tell me anything. She wanted to tell me a lot of nothing. And then that was that. And like, harassment? Like, overly sensitive are you? She just went through all this, and yet a couple messages as a news outlet bothered her. So it's weird. It was a weird exchange, and I don't know why she's even on Instagram that quickly. But yeah, they are. Hey, and make as much money as you can make. So they're making some money right now, over 100 grand. Oh, and they live in a little house, right? So her social media says they live in a little house. She's going from a little house to a big house. Hey, more power to you. Make as much money as you can off a tragedy. The news does that all the time, right? And all the haters, I hate how the haters are like, you're profiting off a tragedy. Yeah, that's what the news does. The news profits off exposing things, exposing people, exposing tragedies. And as she is going to leave that little house, the tiny house, and she's going to move into a nice big house, because the GoFundMe's up to like $115,000 the last I checked, because they keep raising the goal. And so it's like, I don't know if it's about money. I don't know why she wanted to say a whole bunch of nothing when she could have said something. Why are you going to just hint at, oh, there's more to the story. There's more to Dangelo Dorsey. You didn't want to say anything bad about him, and you wanted to imply there's more to the story. Like why shouldn't we be hating on him? He's a horrible, evil scumbag Ryan in hell now. And it's like, how are you being like this towards me when my story has gotten thousands of views on Instagram and YouTube, and you probably have some $25, $50, $100, $200 donations on that GoFundMe, because I helped bring your story more exposure. So some of that $115,000 was because NewsBall helped expose the story further. So it's just strange. Like, she wouldn't just ignore the the offer to interview or say no comment, that she wanted to go into it by saying nothing, but by saying a bunch of things that weren't saying anything. And I wonder what her position is on BLM. I didn't dig through her social media or whatever, but just stay tuned, see if she comes out with a big interview with some big network, or she waits and writes a book and it's on Amazon in a year or two. But it's just a strange interview. But I feel really bad. She's 4 months pregnant and the baby's okay. She flipped upside down in that car crash. Watch it on the video, the first video. This is part 2. And the baby's okay. She's okay. She's back on Instagram. She lost her husband, and she's got attitude with me when I just ask it, hey, what give us insight. Like, what was this psychopath saying when he's like got you guys kidnapped and he's driving and you know, stole your car, stole your guns at your house, taking you with him? What's he saying? Come on, everyone wants to know. Here, I'll help share your story, and thousands of people will see it. And like, I don't know what she has against me or what. Again, I helped get her some GoFundMe money. And this guy Dangelo Dorsey didn't get a negative thing said about him from Aileen Stevens. So come on, Aileen, hit me up, text me, tell me your side of it, or come out with your story, because it seems way weirder now that you did say what you said, which was nothing at all, and it just kind of makes people wonder even more now. But again, you're grieving, so who knows? You fight with people that you shouldn't be fighting with, and you're defending the killer kidnapper because of Stockholm's? I don't know. But I hope you heal. I hope everything's alright. Reach out if you want NewsBall to do the interview. Look, we don't suck up. We don't suck up to you. We don't sugarcoat things. We're anti-PC. Just straight up saying what people are thinking, what the viewers are thinking. Okay, we bring the news. People want full stories. They don't want part of the characters. They don't want to be kept from the details. So that's all. All right, respect the full disclosure and the brutal honesty. I don't know that my style is, or don't. But no offense is meant. No insult is meant. And I don't know, it seems like I was the wrong person for you to be taking out some of your anger. Why you and she reported it to Instagram, and it wasn't removed though, so it's just strange. That's all. We'll see what the next crazy ass story is. NewsBall.com. Again, I'm the one that was in the news for years as a kid, and now I'm making the news. NewsBall.com.